they come back and go, I want to see that. I want to see what you did. You know, so unfortunately, those were gone, but I said, oh, you know. So I just did. I went back and made another pair. This pair didn't turn out as good because you dimple this when you drive and you punch in that hole, and it didn't go back in and get it flat enough. Get them done too, and I got people here, and so it's like a little corner. So they're all unique though. Well, thank you very much for sharing your time. And you're welcome. So I'm going to do a painting.
How are you doing today? Well, we've got a little bit of stuff done, but we haven't missed too much. And I'll explain what we've done. We're making roses. So, what we've done so far doesn't quite look like a rose just yet. But what we're doing right now is we are drawing out our petals. Okay? So, all of our roses here at the Blacksmith shop are made in one piece. So, that guy right there, he's one piece. That guy right there, he's one piece. All the ones in the shop, like I said, are one piece. So, it's beautiful already, right? So, you can see they start small. As we thin them out, they get bigger. And that's the idea. So, what we've done so far, this is how it starts. This is just 1/4 inch round rod, and it's all tempered steel, soft stuff, right? So, if you were wanting a knife, you'd use higher carbon steel. This is low carbon, so it can be manipulated. And if you made a knife out of this, just as is, you could get it sharp, it would not stay sharp. That's the idea. So, we flattened it out just a touch. Then we took it to this wedge-looking thing back here. This is a cold cut tardy. And I do something a little different. I get this hot after I flatten it out just a bit, and then I use this to scallop that edge, okay? I use that one because that's also made out of soft steel, so it's not sharp. If I use any of my other Hardys that are actually built right, it will cut clean through, okay? And if I go too deep, if we think about it, if it's too deep, like say it's further than that, and I start spreading that out, it's going to start drawing that out a little bit. If I don't have enough meat to hang on, I'm going to lose petals, right? And it doesn't look so clean. Okay? Now, this is my forge. If we want to be super technical, this is actually my hearth, and the building is the forge, okay? But we don't really care for technicality. This is a forge, right? So, we're using coal, as in coal from the ground, not charcoal like charcoal briquettes. This gets a little hotter. How hot, you might ask? Give me a number. How hot do we think it is, kids? How hot do we think it is?
10.
10? Hotter. Way hotter.
35.
Closer. Hotter.
55.
Higher than 55.
Hotter than 1,000.
Hotter than 1,000.
2001.
The price is right. It can get up to around 3,000 degrees, okay? That's hotter than lava. Lava tops out around 2,100, okay? So, we are taking a hammer called a rounder fighter, and we are using the rounded hammerhead to draw these petals out. What that's doing is it's pushing it real thin, okay? No touchy, but that's how thin we're getting it. And it still needs to go a little thinner on some of them. We want them as close to paper thin as possible. Then we're going to come up here. We're going to flatten this in just a touch. make it look nicer. And simultaneously, it's going to allow this to bend right there a little easier. Okay? Okay. Lightly tap. Doesn't have to be super perfect. Okay? So now, right here, we squeeze it in just a tad. Okay? Now, I'm going to heat up right around there. And I'm going to bend this at 90 degrees. Okay? Now, I want to bend it, the pedals down, and the stick going up. Otherwise, if I bend it this way, my pedals are going to be upside down. Okay? So, ready? Straighten it out. Again, pedals down. Yep. Reinforce that. Make it a nice crisp 90 degrees, okay? Okay. There's my golf ball. Okay. So, you've got that. Now, here's the fun part, where we make the runs. So I'm switching back to my everyday hammer. This is my cross peen hammer, okay? We're gonna use the peen of this, and we're gonna use the step of my anvil. We're gonna force it down, and that's going to force it to curl, okay? And we're gonna wrap all of this length around itself, and that's gonna form our rose, okay? And so it's gonna move pretty easy. But trick to this, we want it as tight as possible in the center. Okay? So if I don't get it quite as tight as I want, I can go back and I can tap it in just a touch. And I'll stop probably right around there. That's our first curl. Okay? So now the rest of this comes together rather fast. Then we heat it up again. That's when we start pulling those pedals down, okay? Got a little swirly, that's fine. Okay. Now, you might be... Then we can kind of use our hammer and round it out if we don't totally love how it's looking. Oh, and I'll straighten it out just a touch. That got a little goofy. Okay. One more little tweak. Okay. That is our rose so far. Now, there are no pedals to this, there's no definition. This just kind of looks like a brick, right? Now we heat it up, and we pull those pedals down and out. So, for that, we've got tweezers. Not tweezers, pliers. Same thing. We're going to go from the outside, working in, and we're going to pull those pedals down and out. Bring it down. We're going to go ahead and preemptively push down that outer edge. We're pushing those outer pedals as we... Okay, I like that. Yeah, not bad. All right. So we're brushing the scale off. What this scale is just iron oxide. It's just oxidation. It just happens when you heat the metal up. So, this is our rose.
Very
That's our
nice.
rose. Now, very last thing, I'm going to grab my chopstick. I'm going to then, my cold cut hardy. Not counting the flower head, it needs to be about that long. Okay. Then, come up here. That is our rose. So, this bit right here, since it's not a clean break, right? It would be a lot cleaner if it was hot, but to put that whole thing in there to get just this spot hot, I'd have to build a little igloo over top and heat that part right there. It's just not really worth it. So we deal with this and we just grind this. Okay, so we don't sell it to you sharp, we promise. We buff these and we clean them up, paint them to some degree. Some of them we leave like this. Some of them we might reheat and put a little brass patina on them. And some of them we do paint some color on them. But otherwise, this guy is done. He's gonna go in the shop later. So, does anybody have any questions? Any questions about blacksmithing? Anything we do here at Silver Dollar City? Anything?
Okay, you're good. I'll let you do that. Hi. Are you two chaperones? You're a chaperone. Is that your son?